Welcome to the Geo Bachelor Podcast, a show about everything but nothing at the same time. Two guys that took jobs away from their families and living the Geo Bachelor lifestyle.
All right, welcome to episode 4 of the Geo Bachelor Podcast. My name is Landon. El Cuatro de Nada. That's all the Spanish I know. But hey, my name is Landon. We got Dwayne here. You want to introduce yourself?
What's up, folks? Thanks for the intro. We'll just go with that.
Yep. So we got some exciting news, mostly because the two listeners that we have don't like what our platforms are on. So we decided to expand a little bit. So we got like maybe 6. I don't know. I really didn't do a lot of research on the 6th one. But we are on Player FM now, Spotify for your wife.
Yeah, she appreciates that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Shout out Player FM for Sea Change. I mean, that's his rap name. So
yeah,
that's what we're going with.
Sea Change has some big influence into this one. So.
Oh yeah. Well, he's he really likes to listen on Player FM, so we decided to do that. Of course, we're on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. The other one that we're looking at is iHeart. So we'll see if it loads up. I haven't checked in a day or so, but we definitely sent it off. So we'll see how it goes. And another thing, depending on how it goes, this might be the lost video though, depending on how this recording goes, but we might be on YouTube.
So
maybe.
It took us, this is record time getting the mic set up this time.
Oh yeah, mic.
If I hadn't have plugged in my headphone to the wrong jack, we would have been recording a lot sooner. You plugged in
both ends to the headphone jack.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But it took us 20 minutes to set up an iPhone camera to be able to record this.
Look, we don't have exactly the top of the line equipment here, so we're working off of a storage bin.
And we're coming to you from a remote location today.
Yeah, that is right. We are at a remote location. Pretty much I grabbed all my gear and traveled about, a quarter of a mile up the road to your camper. So we are at your camper today.
That's right.
So that's, it's exciting.
If it sounds different, that's why.
Yeah. But you guys can get over that if that sounds good, because we are not a sound podcast. So that's definitely what we're about, is not doing it right.
But even with that said, we have got a little feedback on just voices in and out. That's me moving away from the
You're
mic.
like, let's go.
Well, I have to give you, hey, cut it off.
What? No. Okay. Really, the only thing, and this is a self-review. I say look a lot. Like, look here. Or, well, not so much but look. I know there's another phrase that I say a lot.
Yeah, it'll come out. I'll point it out for you. We'll have a tracker over here.
But that's probably one. But anyways, that's
it. It's right there.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast. We are going to talk about books. So hopefully we don't do as long and boring as we did about podcasts, because I think books are even worse than podcasts.
I don't know. I got a lot of feedback on podcasts. Hey, thanks for that. It's awesome. I think you even picked one up from my list. I
did. Little recap. I did listen to In the Dark. It's 2 seasons. So it's old. I'm trying to think what it is called. The Wetterling case, where the kid went missing in like 89 in Michigan or one of those, and then Curtis Flowers, the second one. That's the one you were talking about.
That's the one I'm in right now.
So I've already passed you in 4 days time.
Probably. You're a little bit more dedicated to the podcast.
This is true, but
anyway, so
good podcast. It's probably not as good as what was the one that we just I'm trying to think what it was. It was a spin, or the one that we found out on oh my goodness, this is awkward. The moment of silence here.
Which one are you talking about?
Oh, it's a spinoff that we were talking about from the main podcast. So there's Serial. Oh, S-Town. That's what it is. S-Town, probably my favorite of all time, that style of podcast. But yeah. Anyways, let's get to the books.
All right. So you want to kick this thing off, or?
Yes, I will kick this. All right. This is a 14 book series as far as I'm concerned, I think. Might be a little bit more.
This isn't Twilight, is it?
No, this is not Twilight. This was recommended to me by two sisters that I work with. And let me tell you, it's about the worst book I've ever read in my entire life. So if you guys want to read the Wheel of Time series, don't do it. So shout out to Cindy and Kat for giving me the worst recommendation.
Well, my question, do you consider audiobooks reading? Meaning it's the same material, you're taking in the same thing that you would be reading, but do you consider that as finishing a book?
Yes, as somebody that listens to audiobooks, I would for sure read that.
All right. So my first book is Elon Musk's autobiography. That one, yeah.
That's not right either.
It's written by Ashley Vance. It's pretty cool. It goes through how he got into the business, where he came from, his family background, what he's into now. I mean, it talks about Tesla, it talks about SpaceX, and everything from his startup businesses, why he works the way he works. And one of the big things I took away from this is acronyms.
Yeah.
In his business, he only allows like very few. I think what we work in, there's acronyms for acronyms.
Yeah, you have an acronym for an acronym. It's ridiculous, but
it's a good book. It's very, very interesting what he does.
All right, my book, and I know that you've read this because, well, let's face it, you're the reason why I read this, and I read it before you. So this is, I mean, I see a pattern that I'm definitely finished stuff before you do. I don't know if it's called dedication or what, but American Kingpin by Nick Bilton. All right, this is a story about Ross Ulbricht. He is the guy that created the Silk Road, which is kind of like the eBay of drugs.
It's like the Amazon of drugs.
Oh, yeah, Amazon, and let me tell you, it's a good read.
And it's on the dark web. What they consider. Have you ever been to the dark web?
No, I have not been to the dark web, but I have watched. I mean, how much I'm into this movie. There was a documentary done called The Dark Web that I watched. I think I downloaded it off of Amazon or something like that.
Yeah,
and it went in detail about him too and all this stuff. So that was.
What about Bitcoins? You done Bitcoins yet?
Huh? No Bitcoins. But yeah, this actually talks about how Bitcoin, they're untraceable and stuff like that, and moved his progress and stuff.
Well, it's definitely a good read.
Yeah.
I mean, this is relevant. It was what, 2012?
I couldn't tell you for sure on the exact date, but I know it's fairly recent. This guy was just
making bank.
Yeah. And and he was pretty much unstoppable for quite a while.
Yeah.
I mean, just made a few mistakes, or otherwise he'd probably.
Who knows? Who knows? Started with selling mushrooms that he grew. And then just blew up from there. We won't go into it anymore.
Yep.
No spoiler alerts or anything. My next book is Meat Eater by Steven Rinella. It just talks about the American hunter as they are now, and just a book of like great adventures that he's gone on. It's a pretty good read.
So I just want to clarify that I do have the taste of a 13-year-old female when it comes to reading books. I did read Twilight. This is a true statement. And which also caused me to read other books, of course, Divergent and Hunger Games, by far some of my favorite reads. But there's this one called Mortal Instruments, which is kind of on the same line of Twilight a little bit, but it deals with more sci-fi, like they call them shadow hunters, which pretty much is people that fight demons and stuff. And I'm really big into the whole fiction side of things.
Folks, if you could see his face right now, he just lights up.
You might be able to see these. Dude, I love the books. The movie was horrible. The TV show was horrible. So, but
well, and I'll say that, and I'll go into this a little bit later. But I read, oh gosh, what was that first book? Not Twilight. You talked about it was
it Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. So I read all 3 series, and then the movie comes out. was horrible. The movie didn't follow the book
Yeah.
at all.
But
But I talked my daughter into reading it, and now she keeps coming to me. It's like, Dad, they didn't get the first show right. It's nothing like the book.
yeah.
I'm like,
Well, I mean,
told
that's
you.
that's everything you do. I mean, that also, I don't even know what I all went into. But yeah, the Hunger Games, Divergent, that was all any of those big blockbuster movies and stuff like that. I like reading. Of course, I have read a few Harry Potters. I don't know if I read them all, but
So my next book, we've talked about this one a little bit. I won't go much into it. Is "Fail Until You Don't" by Bobby Bones.
you cheater! Like, I introduced you to Bobby Bones.
Hey, we're even. You stole one of my podcasts last week.
No, I didn't. I'm pretty sure that you didn't show me that podcast.
Listen here, Mr. Spanks.
This is not going to be a nickname. I am not Mr. Spanks.
Landon, a.k.a. Mr. Spanks.
No.
So I won't go through that. The next one we've talked about as well is the Dean Koontz Frankenstein book. I'm on the last series. It's a book of 4.
It's about a rough read of the Wheel of Time series. I was told that I'm too stupid to get the series. I don't think that's true.
I've enjoyed it. It's the 4th one's even more
well,
bizarre.
I don't know. Maybe I'll try it again, but it was rough to get into.
Well, basically, it's a spin-off of Frankenstein,
Which I have read actually for school, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. But we won't talk about that book. That's
And my next book.
Are you going to keep going?
Oh,
or do you want me to?
Oh, do you have some over there?
I have, there's, what is this? 50 Shads of gray.
I think that's Shades of Grey.
Shads.
50 Shades of Grey.
It's a spinoff. I don't know. I wanted to read it.
So
it is a horrible.
First one.
It is. I don't. No, don't read it.
I read the first one because I was talking with my wife about it. So she read it and wanted me to read it, so I read it.
Yeah. I don't get what the hype is about. It's really awkward and stuff. But, anyways, my book. Yeah, I'm going again because you skipped like 2. There's this guy. He's not a very famous writer, but his name's John Grisham. Yeah, he writes some good stuff. I like books that have movies, so that a way I can compare them. This is also how I got through school. Always pick the book with a movie.
And its movies totally follow the book, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Firm, The Client, Pelican Brief. Those are 3 of the ones that I can remember. But they're all real good books. But go on.
The next book I have is The Squat Bible. It's written by Aaron Horsching. He's actually from Missouri. Breaks down the squat, how to teach it, what to look for, common mistakes, even things of where to keep the bar, depending on what type of squat you're doing. Talks about the whole deal of ass to grass when you're in a squat, or do you go to parallel?
You just said the first cuss word of the podcast, and I totally thought it was going to be me.
I just referenced how he put it in the book.
We are going to have to make an E right next to our podcast, thanks to you.
We'll bleep it out.
We'll bleep. Beep. I don't think that's going to work.
You got any more?
Oh, yeah. Now that you brought up CrossFit, guy that I said for his podcast, Rich Froning, he wrote a book. Don't really know what it's called, but something about winning. It's a really good book by Rich Froning, so just look that up.
Next one, this goes in off of one of the podcasts I talk about. It's Chasing Excellence by Ben Bergeron.
Boo.
Went through basically the 2016 games and how they got there. It's a good read.
I'm sure it's exciting as his podcast. My name is Ben Bergeron, which is probably 10 times better than our podcast, really, but it is what it is. But yeah, there's a lot of I'm trying to think of the other ones. Breathing Fire, I think. There's a few other ones that I've read. I haven't read the Chris Beeler or the Jason Khalipa one. There's 2 of those books that I'll probably get to eventually. And then, of course, Dave Castro's book, which I hear is just all journal entries, who is the director of the CrossFit Games. So, yeah, we're going to talk about CrossFit a little bit. But
My next book's called Night. It's by Eli Wiesel.
Weasel.
I think that's how you pronounce it. Wisel. Wiesel?
White
Wiesel. Probably Wiesel.
Weasel.
Anyway, it's set back to the Holocaust. He actually went through it. He was one of the last survivors that just passed away probably a year ago. It's super graphic. The things that he's seen and that he went through, it's just, I gave it to a friend's wife to read, and I don't know if she's able to finish it or not because it really hits home. I mean, it talks about everything from kids to adults to, it didn't matter. The stuff that they went through and the stuff they've seen, and to survive it, I can't imagine.
Well, looking through my list, I know that there's a whole bunch of vampire books that I read that are like spinoffs of Twilight, but I'm not really going to go too in depth with that. How many more books do you got?
I got one more book, two more books. Ready Player One.
Okay, you watched the movie. You probably didn't even read the book.
I read the book before the movie came out, so I was super bummed when the movie actually came out. Luckily,
The movie was awesome.
I was told that it doesn't follow the book at all. So the book, it's an older book. It's not new, but it is a good read.
What's your next book? Tron?
No, my next
Tron
book.
Legacy?
I haven't picked out my next book. It's probably up on the shelf up there.
No, he keeps up books to make him look smarter.
And then the last one, and so when I read this book, believe it or not, it was back in 2011, before you didn't really like me at this time frame. He called me a lot of unpleasant names behind my back.
This is not true. I am very upfront.
Anyway, so book clubs. Have you ever been in a book club?
No, all right. I wasn't invited to your cool little group when
let me tell you, I
at.
didn't want to do it, and I was forced. You will do this group, and you will join, and you will participate. I wasn't a fast reader, so I thought, gosh, I'm just going to have to power through everything to even keep up. But one of the first books we read was Charm School. And it's basically a book on espionage. So there was during the Vietnam War, Americans would get captured. Russians would buy them from the Vietnamese and then take them to this school to train their spies. Like Charm School. I think there's like probably a spinoff of it. There's Americans or something like that.
Yeah. Well, that was a sneeze. I hold in my sneezes, so it sounds like my whole brain's getting ready to explode.
But it's a super good book. That book is written by Cordero. Nope, sorry, Nelson DeMille. Nelson DeMille.
I've actually heard that name before. I don't know where from, but I've heard the name. Yeah, I would say probably my next book is probably gonna be Jack Ryan, based on the TV show.
I've read that first one. It's a good read.
Or maybe Red Sparrow. I watched the movie, so that's a good show, and I don't know why, but it's probably my Russian accent when I was doing it last week on episode 3. That just really touches base with the whole Russian side of things. And I hope Red Sparrow is Russian. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I'll post a picture of my next book for November. That's when my next book will go down.
November. No. What are you reading right now then?
I'm reading the last book of the Frankenstein series.
Oh, but that doesn't count. You put it all together.
And then Leading on Empty by Wayne Cordero.
That was 3 books. You said you had 2 books.
Well, that's it. I'm booked out. Those are the books that I've read this year.
Okay, now that we have talked for 20 minutes about books, roughly, not really 20 minutes, what is our next topic of discussion? I'll tell you what, we really planned this out, so, you want...
Well, if anyone's seen our Instagram post, Pomo working out, and then we put one up there. He got a pretty special like that he got a little giddy over.
I did not get... Okay, because I knew who the person was. Basically, the guy is handles I Am Christian Harris. I've heard the name before. I had to research a little bit more, but he was a teams competitor in the CrossFit Games, and he was on the same team as Andrea Ager, which is kind of a got quite a bit of following on the CrossFit. You're just jealous because you didn't get a
I
like.
got 0 likes on my post. But so we started that day. I said, "Hey, I got to work out. I think I'm going to go for a run." And no more than hanging up the phone with you, it just started pouring. So driving down, I'm like, "Hey, pull your awning out and get out some weights. I'm going to do a workout underneath the awning down there." And then you end up doing one, and then I did a separate one with my sandbag.
I dabbled on a second one.
And then you challenged me to
Guys,
do
I did
yours.
not challenge. All right, I'm getting ready to say it. Look, I did not challenge you. I would just did my workout, and you're like, "Oh, well, I guess I better do your workout because I can't be outdone." So
And then you tried to race me.
I didn't. No, there was no racing.
Oh, you
I
thought
took
you had
off
me
ahead of
beat.
you. No, I could have beat you. All right, you were smoked. Your legs weren't working because you're not used to squatting. All you do is just sit there and run and play with your little sandbag.
I squatted today. I'm going to feel it tomorrow and the following day.
My legs were so sore after that workout. I was like, yeah, I definitely need to do more legs. But you want to go a little bit in depth? Probably not too. Mine's a real simple workout. It was 10 all the way down to 1. So you did 10 kettlebell swings at 70 pounds and I think a 53 pound, like a, I don't know, some kind of squat. I kind of did it behind the back with my shoulder because my left shoulder is just still not going fine.
How's therapy going for you?
Well, she wants me to do some imaging, so we'll see. She thinks I tore something. The first guy didn't really think so. So we'll get that all scheduled up and see if I'm not in a sling come Christmas.
I've been in one of those. It's no fun.
Yeah, I hear shoulder surgery is probably one of the worst ones, just solely because you use everything with your upper body and stuff. So we will see. But yeah, other than that, like I said before, I was so rudely interrupted by Dwayne. 10 kettlebell swings at 70 pounds. Yeah, it's a big weight. I know. But and then 53 pound squats, 10. So you do 10, 10, and then you run 200 meters ish. And then you go 9, 9 all the way down to 1. I don't know what that calculates up to. I think it's 151 if I'm just guessing. That's probably not true. Somebody can do the math for me on that. Start doing the math.
No, I'm not doing the math right now.
What? All right. You go ahead and I'll start doing the math.
And then mine was with the brute force sandbag. It was just a series of movements for 5 minutes, rest 2, then another series of 5. It was a pretty good smoker. Anytime you're putting weight on and doing some movement with awkwardness of a sandbag, it kind of puts you in your place. You got that figured up over there yet? He's writing it down, folks. If you hear that, that is him.
55. So not exactly 110 or 151 like I thought. I don't even know if that's right. I don't know. You got like, he gives me this right in the rain pad and then he gives me a gel pad, which is like really counterproductive. But anyways, I say that a lot. Anyways, definitely I say that. Other than that, what else you got going on?
Well, this week is supposed to, today was the last like good weather. It's supposed to be into the 50s and 40s.
It will be 70 all winter long.
So I'm thinking about draining the hot water tank and preparing for 35-degree weather.
I feel like here in a couple weeks, I think like the third or fourth week in October, I'm going to do mine. But
you got a big, fish fry coming up still?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go down to it or not, but I've been looking at different options. I think I'm going to go to Lowe's, it's only a half an inch thick, but it's like 4x8 sheet of some kind of insulated.
Get it now. That stuff goes out quick.
So the thing is, I need a truck because I drive this awesome car. So
we'll just strap it to the top.
No,
we can hold it. We don't have to strap it. We can both just hold it.
Need to use your car if you're not going to pick your family. Are you picking your family over me this week?
I have to work this weekend.
Yeah, I have to work this weekend too. I'm talking about throughout the week.
Nope, I'm here all week.
No way.
Yeah.
Like, guys, this is the first time he's ever, like, stayed all week at any given
But
time.
my weekend starts on Friday.
My weekend started today, because I have to work. Oh wait,
Oh wait,
no, we're
What was
switching.
this?
We're switching to work schedules, so we will be on 410 start next week.
yeah.
So
And let's talk about your early outing on Friday.
what? I come in early and then I leave at about an hour earlier than everybody else, and and I go home.
I
I
think
have a
you
2.5 hour drive.
Home.
I left at 2, which I
No.
cleared all that stuff. I came in early. Yeah, I left at 2.
Okay.
I left at 2 and I got home at 4:30 ish. I drive fast. That's what I want to go fast.
Yeah, maybe that's why. What happened to you was because you driving too fast and cut somebody off.
Look, I'm pretty sure my wife does not want me talking about this because she is really not happy, but I just found out that I had like a few fender benders within a 2-month period. Pretty much totaled my car. Girl pulled out in front of me going down a highway, and I hit her going a pretty good speed. So that happened, and so I got a new car, Dodge Charger, black on black. It's pretty, or it still is pretty.
You just called your car pretty.
Look, I'm a car guy. I like pretty cars.
I'm pretty
I like
sure
pretty things.
Car guys don't say, "Oh, my car's pretty."
I'm pretty sure they do.
And this
Anyways,
is why
now
you're
you just
called
made me do.
Mr. Spanks.
You just made me do the. I'm pretty sure they do. Either way, so, and then I got rear-ended on the bridge, coming home from work, and according to the insurance, I will be maybe the first person in the world that has ever got like 100% liable for getting rear-ended. So I'm sure that's going to be a nice little battle, but we just found that out today that they're saying that I'm 100% responsible. So I don't.
Doesn't sound right, but
The police report probably didn't go my way either. So we'll definitely have to look into that eventually because I definitely paid some money out on that.
and then with all these accidents you went, no one was seriously injured.
No. My daughter was in the first one. She ended up being okay. A few bruises. Had to go to the doctor a few times, but other than that, I mean, everybody thankfully came out okay. The girl that I got in a collision with, the first one, I think she was in the hospital for a little while, but she's good and stuff like that. So I mean, I definitely, she came right across and I was going down a highway, so I don't know how fast I hit her, but I would say 70 minus whatever the brakes is doing. So I mean, it
sounds like everyone got lucky.
Yeah. So, but should we just sit here for the next 2 minutes in silence, or I feel like we did go a little bit longer last time. Books is a really boring situation, so I can understand why we're running out of stuff to talk about, but I feel like we can go a little bit more. So if we get this YouTube thing up, I don't think so. I mean, I could actually go look at the camera and we could be completely cut off and I'll have to scrap the whole video.
Well, as long as we got the voice, the voice part, as long as this part's recording, we'll be good. But the YouTube channel, it's just something else we're trying.
Yeah.
Just to see how it goes. We watched a lot other ones and like, well, at least if we do this, they'll kind of get a glimpse of,
where
we're
we're at
recorded
and
in,
stuff. But yeah, definitely we'll have to do a little bit of fixing on that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll post if it actually goes up on YouTube or not. I don't really think it will. Takes a lot of editing, I would say.
No, it doesn't take a lot of editing. What are you going to edit?
When you're as ugly as I am, it takes a lot of editing. I'm going to cut it from the shoulders up because that is definitely my best attribute.
And got an update on our logo.
Oh, we do?
So my artist that does the work, she's
taking forever.
Gonna get to it this week, so we should have a finished logo this week.
Okay, when we decided to do this podcast, let me tell you, his artist, which shall not be named, pretty much came up with our logo that we're using in about a day.
Not even. It was like,
Yeah, like, and I was just like, why is it taking so much longer? And
listen,
it's because somebody wanted a barbell in the picture. And I swear to God, if I see this picture and there is not a barbell, hell will be.
listen,
Like,
she's busy.
she's
all
not
right?
busy.
And don't
okay?
poke the bear. All right, don't poke the bear.
Look, I'm not scared. All right, never been scared, or as they say, scared.
You realize she listens to this podcast too.
I'm still not scared. I mean, this is pretty much the Landon show. Um, so, but anyway, gosh,
You've got to work on that.
You,
The
no,
tally
you
over
need
here, I ran out of paper.
You did not tally, okay? Because guess what? We're recording it, and they're gonna know that you didn't tally it. So you, sir, are a liar and a fraud, like I told you before. Either way, what is next week's topic going to be? Or are we even recording, or is this the last episode that we're going to record?
No, we'll record next week. I'll lean on you to come up with the...
I came up on every topic that we've ever done. Ish.
Now who's a liar?
Ish.
Anyway, folks, subscribe.
Yeah,
like.
We are on everything, thanks to Sea Change and your wife. So, I mean,
give us
I don't
feedback.
know what else we need.
Well, we just need feedback.
We do
to
not
like
need feedback.
and share. I think, even the third one, there were several more new listeners.
Yeah. I don't have the numbers and stuff, but we actually got a review from Landon P on iTunes. And I don't know exact words of it, but it says something like to the extent of, yeah, that Landon guy's really funny. Keep him on there. He should have his own show. So,
So you're kicking me off the show? Is that what you're doing?
I don't know. It's just it's not anonymous. I was kind of hoping to put my name on there when I put the review on there, but yeah.
From last week's talking about the different episodes or the way to pronounce it, so I got told several times that you were not pronouncing half of them correctly.
Okay, just because they took French in back in 6th grade, they want to correct me. All right, I'm an expert. I'm a linguist. I'm a professional. I don't need you all to tell me how to say words. I can read them.
They need to keep you in check. Anyway, folks, like, share, get it out there. Give us some feedback. We'd really appreciate it. Check out our Instagram at
the
Geo Bachelors.
I think.
Yes.
All right. We are signing out. We are done. Ready? Oh, that video is going to be horrible on that. But all right. Out.